Site of First Church, 1632. First Minister, Ralph Partridge, 1637 to 1658. Here in the oldest cemetery, oldest maintained cemetery in America, in Duxbury, Massachusetts. This is where their first church was, and where my great etc. grandfather probably was a minister here, probably taught some sermons here in this very location. America's oldest maintained cemetery, Miles Standish Burying Ground, is the oldest maintained cemetery in the United States. The sacred ground has been cared for by the town of Duxbury, Massachusetts, and takes its name from Miles Standish, military leader of the Plymouth colony, who was interred here in October 1656. That's actually where he's buried, right over in there. Sign here gives a little bit of information on the old burying ground if you want to pause the screen and take a look, but I wanted to point this out in here. The burying ground is located in the heart of early settlement that would become the town of Duxbury. Beginning in 1627, just 7 years after the arrival of the ship Mayflower, members of Plymouth Colony were granted farms in the area on which they built homes, cultivated the land. In 1637, the families living here formed their own religious congregation under the leadership of Elder William Brewster and petitioned it to be set apart from Plymouth Colony. Once permission was granted, the separate town of Duxbury was established in 1637. Folks, this is my grandfather, my great etc. grandfather, Elder William Brewster. I'm just stopping quickly here at the former site of Elder William Brewster's homestead, marked by lilacs, brought all the way from Holland, his homeland. There used to be a homestead here, like a whole museum type thing, but it's sadly no longer here. There's actually like a residential home directly off over here. We kind of just parked off the side of the road, so we won't be staying here too long, but wanted to see where my great etc. grandfather used to live. And we have made it to historic Plymouth. Oh my goodness, this is a major moment. Hello everybody, welcome and welcome back. I am CrisTheGirl. This is my fiance Tampa Jay.
Hello everyone.
Little known fact, maybe you all didn't know this, but we are both descendants of pilgrims on the Mayflower. I am a descendant of Elder William Brewster, the minister on the Mayflower. Some have credited him as being the father of New England, a major player with the Pilgrims, with the Mayflower, with all of that good stuff. Tampa Jay, you can explain your history.
My 13th great-grandparents were John and Priscilla Alden. That's Priscilla Mullins and John Alden. They came over on the Mayflower in 1620 with William Brewster. Also
very prominent pilgrims in the whole story here too. So this is our very first time here in Plymouth, and this is something that we both have been wanting to do literally like for forever, or like our entire lives. We have ancestry here, we have roots here. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we're not going to talk about that today. We're just going to fire up the camera, show you some things. We really didn't research. We didn't research too much. We did a little bit of research. We both are on Ancestry.com. We know a decent amount about our ancestry. We've looked in this area. We've marked out a few things. So we've done a little bit of research, but in general, we weren't even sure if we were going to stop here on our trip. But we had a little bit of time. It was kind of on the way to where we're going today. So we figured, hey, let's stop. Let's do this. So we don't have that much time here, unfortunately. We're not going to do all the things, but we're going to do some of the things. And I appreciate you all clicking on the video. I hope that you all enjoy it. And without further ado, let's go. Look at that paddle boat out there. Cool. Plymouth. Yeah, I can't believe we're finally here. Literally have been wanting to come here my entire life. Here we are, Plymouth, our first time. This is a really, really beautiful town so far. Look at the harbor out there. There's boats, there's water. This is gonna be really cool. I'm so excited. We're gonna just pop into the visitor center really quick. It's always a very good place to start, and would highly recommend heading inside of the visitor center if you're here. The people working in there, incredibly nice, helpful, very informative, and we have so much information. I have so many pamphlets and maps and things like that once we started talking about the fact that we both had ancestors here. The nice lady in there was very helpful, gave us a bunch of pamphlets like this one here for the Pilgrim Hall Museum. Also, like, there's libraries here too, which I didn't even think of, that we could look up like more information and whatnot. Obviously, we'll be back. Okay, we'll be back. We're gonna spend a lot of time here someday in Plymouth, but this is really awesome. In the meantime, we have a lot of literature to look through. All right, so we just crossed the street closer to the harbor here, and this, I do believe, is the Mayflower, our first view of the Mayflower. Wow. You know, we're just walking along the harbor here, really enjoying the sights, and check it out. Brewster Street. Very cool. We're gonna be seeing a lot of Brewster stuff today. Also, coming up on some shops. You know we gotta get some souvenirs while we're here too. The Mayflower too. We're gonna walk up close here, take a look at the historical sign there. I'm not sure that we're actually gonna go on it today or do whatever museum thing that they have here. We just have to come back, like I said. We'll be back. So here we go, Mayflower 2, built 1955 to 1957, has been placed on the National Register of Historic Places by the United States Department of Interior. Designed by naval architect William A. Baker, this historic ship is a reproduction of a 17th century vessel that carried the Pilgrims across the Atlantic in 1620. Very cool. Yeah, this will definitely be a cool one to come back and check out. Really, really, really would love to see and get an idea of like what the Mayflower was like. An idea, a rough estimation of what the Mayflower was like. This is amazing. I still, like, I'm in shock that we're here, to be quite honest with you all. Just in shock. And we walked around to the front of the Mayflower replica here. Wow, it is so small.
Right.
I cannot imagine. Next up, we're going to check out Plymouth Rock, the landing place of the Pilgrims in 1620. It's underneath that covered area right over there. It is the fact that they landed and remained that matters, not where they landed. Yet it is no bad thing for a nation to be founded on a rock. That was a quote by Rose T. Briggs. If you want to pause the screen, take a look at the sign here with all of this information. We're about to see Plymouth Rock. Okay, here it is. Plymouth Rock. Wow, 1620. Someone left their shoes in here. Oh no. Okay. There's a lot of coins in here as well.
Yeah, it's a little bigger than I thought.
Honestly, it's bigger than I thought it was going to be as well. And we're taking a look here at William Bradford's statue. He was governor and historian of the Plymouth colony. Another really big, important person in this whole story. Really cool to see this statue here. And just a little walk away from the Bradford statue is Brewster Gardens. This should be a really lovely garden area here. And it's named after William Brewster, my grandpa. So I'm really excited about this one. It's been high up my list to go see this really pretty area. Had to come over here and check out the sign, Brewster Gardens, Town of Plymouth. Established 1921. This is a really lovely park area in here. Really, really, really nice. They've got a stream directly to the left here as well. Look at the pretty flowers. My parents are actually going to be coming here for the very first time in just a few weeks as well. It's kind of interesting that my family is going to be here in this incredibly important spot to us in the same year. Like, unfortunately not at the same time, but the same year. So I don't know, I think that that's kind of interesting. We did not plan it that way. As I said, this was kind of like a last minute sort of decision if we were going to come here or not. But it all worked out, I guess, the way that it was supposed to. Someday I'll come here and visit with my family, with my mom. That would mean the world to me. We'll do that at some point. But it's pretty cool that they will be here soon too. And I'm excited for my parents to see this area. And it's pretty cool for me too because I love plants. I love gardens. We go to gardens and arboretums on the channel every now and then. And I have a ton of plants at home. Like, it's a huge part of who I am and my personality. So it's pretty cool that one of the things that they did for my ancestor was establish this gardens area, a nice park for everybody. And I just think that that's really, really fitting. And there's a nice, lovely bridge here too, inside of the gardens. Yeah, the stream is really, really nice, really pretty. To those intrepid English women whose courage, fortitude, and devotion brought a new nation into being, this statue of the Pilgrim Maiden is dedicated. Okay, here we go. I knew that there was some kind of tribute plaque somewhere inside of the gardens, and lo and behold, it was right here at the entrance. We almost walked past it. The Reverend Elder Mr. William Brewster, a man that had done and suffered much for ye Lord Jesus and ye gospel's sake. He was qualified above many. He was wise and discreet and well-spoken, of a very cheerful sprite, undervaluing himself and own abilities. That was by our pal Governor William Bradford there. Thank you.
It's really nice.
Very cool. Yeah, very, very nice. This is very amazing to be here. So we were just walking up the hill to Layden Street here. This is the street that we are on. Happened to look over to my left, and what do I see? It is Plymouth 400, America's first street and site of the home of William Brewster, the Pilgrim's spiritual leader. Formerly First Street, its name was changed to Layden Street in honor of the city in the Netherlands that offered refuge to the Pilgrims. Wow. Okay, well, let's check out the front of it. So it's actually a post office right now. It is now a post office, but there are several signs and plaques in this area talking about William Brewster. So let's go check it out. So first of all, we have actually a drinking fountain here. It says Pilgrim Spring on the Mearstead set off to Elder William Brewster in the original allotment, December 1620. Erected by the town in 1915, and it says down here, freely drink and quench your thirst, here drank the Pilgrim Fathers first. That's beautiful. Yeah, it's a drinking fountain. I feel like we should drink from it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you even drink from it?
I think it's broken.
It might not be working. COVID may have stopped that, but nonetheless, you get the idea. That is pretty dang cool. And then there's this nice plaque here. On this site stood the house of William Brewster, 1566 to 1646, the spiritual leader and elder of the colony. All right, we just popped across the street here to get a better view of it all. Zoom in at the top there. There's the Mayflower. So at the very top of the hill here stands this beautiful church. And lo and behold, the plaque says the first church in Plymouth. We gotta go up there and read the plaques. I have no idea if this is the original or not. There's also a sign up there talking about the Mayflower Meeting House, which we learned recently is kind of the central hub of town affairs. You would not only go there to worship, but you'd go there for meetings, as it implies, and all of that good stuff. But as we've been learning, Elder William Brewster was the minister. He was the spiritual leader of the Pilgrims. So, needless to say, you would have spent a lot of time here in this area. This talks about the Mayflower Meeting House if you want to pause the screen and take a look. I wanted to point out that it says the mission of the General Society of Mayflower Descendants is to educate the world about the Mayflower story and its influence on democracy and the founding of America, etc. And I do believe that we are a part, my family is a part of the Society of Mayflower Descendants. Like I said, we have the official documentation and all of that good stuff. So I just thought that was pretty cool. And then there's this plaque here, the first church in Plymouth. First Parish Church of Plymouth, placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2014. The Church of Scrooby, Leyden, and the Mayflower, gathered on this hillside in 1620, has ever since preserved unbroken records and maintained a continuous ministry, its first covenant being still the basis of its fellowship. In reverent memory of its Pilgrim founders, this fifth meeting house was erected in whatever that year is. I'm not good at Roman numerals. So there you go. Like the sign said, the fifth meeting house built here, but this was the location, the area of where they would have worshipped when they first got here. So very cool. This whole area would be just incredibly important to my ancestors, and it makes sense. That's where his house is. Grandpapa's house is just right over there. He just had to walk up the hill here over to his, the church, the meeting house, and then lead his sermons right up in here. And then speaking of that, right next door, Burial Hill. This is where he has been laid to rest. So we're gonna go check that out now. We're gonna enter inside in just a moment here, but right on the edge here is the piece of Tampa Jay history, the site of the house where John Alden lived when he was here in Plymouth. We actually went to his home in Duxbury before this. Tampa Jay got all of that on his video, so make sure you go check that out. But yeah, this was another site where he lived. Really cool. I can't believe our descendants were so intertwined. And look at this. I was not expecting this, but we were just looking at the former spot of John Alden's house, and right here, right in front of us, in memoriam, Elder William Brewster, Patriarch of the Pilgrims, and their ruling elder 1609 to 1644, outstanding leader of Pilgrim movement, the founding of Plymouth Plantation, and the establishment of civil and religious liberty in the New World. Wow.
Beautiful.
Right there. Now, we don't think that this is where he's actually resting. We think he's actually inside of there. I think this is just a memorial placed here. I could be wrong. We're gonna go in and take a look, but that's... I honestly, I looked at it, I just started crying because this is... It's just something that I've always wanted to see and to visit. This has been, literally, my entire life for as long as I can remember. My mom telling me, you're a descendant of the Mayflower, you're a descendant of the Mayflower. And as I grew older, learning more about my genealogy and my ancestry, seeing all of the documentation, and then just recently getting into Ancestor.com and really diving deep into that. And then also recently learning and coming into being with my ancestors just in a spiritual way. I talk with them every single day. So this moment means a lot to me, to see this, to see all of this. So we just re-looked it up, and this is it. So they're not 100% sure where exactly he is buried in here. It's somewhere up in here, but so this is just erected here for him. Take a look at some of the signage here. Burial Hill. It says the first English settlers built their first fort/meeting house here. As we were saying, the hill before you has been used for burials by Plymouth residents since the 1620s. Mayflower passengers buried here include Governor William Bradford, William and Mary Brewster, and the last burial took place in 1957. We're just walking up the very, very steep steps here up to the top. Look at this beautiful view. All the water out there. Well, they have a lovely resting place up here, that's for sure. And yeah, just a little ways away, the Bradfords are buried in this section in here. I figured we would come across the Bradfords at some point, his family, in this section. Under this stone rest the ashes of William Bradford, a zealous Puritan and sincere Christian, governor of Plymouth Colony from April 1621 to 1657, the year he died aged 69, except 5 years which he declined. Okay, so we were just walking down the hill here, and I just happened to look to my left, and here we go. This tablet is erected by the Pilgrim Society of Plymouth to mark the site of the first meeting house built in 1637. So it was somewhere around here, I guess. Somewhere in this vicinity, this whole area, very significant, I guess, to my ancestors. And we're just walking along this really cute street here. So many adorable restaurants and shops and whatnot. We're gonna stop here, the Yellow Deli. It looks absolutely adorable. The menu sounds really good. They got sandwiches, you can create your own sandwich. They got salads, soups, drinks. They got a Thanksgiving sandwich there.
Cranberry? I'll probably get that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Really cute. Wow. And our food has arrived. So I made my own sandwich. I made a grilled cheese sandwich. The bread is made in-house here. And Tampa Jay got the gobbler. It's a Thanksgiving sandwich, basically. Turkey with cranberries and all that good stuff. He got some coleslaw, also some chili that came with also fresh homemade bread. Oh my gosh, so freaking good. I also got a lemon mint cooler, and you can tell that this is also made fresh in-house. Like, it's so minty and delicious. And he also got an apple cider, fresh apple cider. So good so far. All right, let's give it a try. Okay, we both have taken a bites of our sandwiches and everything, and can confirm this is freaking delicious. This is probably the best meal we've had this entire trip.
This is the best meal.
And like, just
so
in general,
fresh.
like, it's so good. Oh my gosh, the sandwiches are so hot. The freaking coleslaw, dude. If you come here, make sure you get the coleslaw, because this is the best thing I've ever had. And I don't even like coleslaw. And this is delicious. All right, we just finished up at the Yellow Deli. So incredibly good. Again, if you're here in Plymouth, we would highly recommend it. And the best news is that apparently this is a chain, and they have one in Florida, in Arcadia of all places, which is awesome. So now we really got to get back to that area, do some antique shopping, get some delicious freaking coleslaw. Oh my gosh. One of the things that I really appreciate about these old homes that we've noticed, not just here in Plymouth and not just Salem, but even in DC and just these older neighborhoods, I like that they have signs saying who built them, when they were built, what it was built for. I think that that's really, really cool. And this is one of the last things we're gonna check out for today. With this spot in here is the first burying ground of Plymouth passengers of the Mayflower. It's kind of a mass burial in here. And if you want to pause the screen and just read the inscription on here, I just read through it myself. It's kind of hard to read, but you can make it out. It really is quite astounding, the words on here. And then on the opposite side, of the 104 passengers, these died in Plymouth during the first year. So again, if you want to pause and just read through it, Yeah, really nice setup that they have here. Again, kind of on top of a hill looking out over the water here. Really cool. Really beautiful. What an amazing day we have had here today. Like I said at the beginning of this video, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Having relatives, you know, be the Pilgrims, be a part of all of this, because of course we're talking about the colonization of the Americas. We were not the first people on this land. This land was not our land to take. It you know, it belonged to somebody else well before anybody came over here. It belonged to the Native Americans. And I like that they have this this plaque here, National Day of Mourning. Since 1970, Native Americans have gathered at noon on Coles Hill in Plymouth to commemorate a National Day of Mourning in the U.S. Thanksgiving holiday. Many Native Americans do not celebrate the arrival of the Pilgrims and other European settlers. To them, Thanksgiving Day is a reminder of the genocide of millions of their people, the theft of their lands, and the relentless assault on their culture. Participants in the National Day of Mourning honor Native ancestors and the struggles of Native peoples to survive today. It is a day of remembrance and spiritual connection, as well as a protest of the racism and oppression which Native Americans continue to experience. So I really appreciate that they have at least something here, because as much as we are, I don't know, it's just so difficult, you know, it is so difficult. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the land that we're standing on right now, every single one of us, not just here in Plymouth, but all across this country, was owned by Native Americans. We stole it from them, and we committed so many atrocities against them. So it's really important to remember that and to keep that in mind. I always keep that in the back of my mind, in the front of my mind, whenever I do think about my heritage. And I feel like that's a part of ancestral healing, right? Like personally, that's what I believe. And one of the reasons why I feel like I am here is to help with that ancestral healing personally. So I don't know, that's just my little diatribe there, but we got to talk about that here too while we're here in Plymouth. And with that, we are heading back to our car now. Got to get on the road. We have a little bit of a drive till we get to our destination for tonight. This was a really amazing experience, life-changing experience, I would say. And we're gonna go ahead and end it here. That's gonna do it for a very short trip here in Plymouth. We will be back. We will definitely be back. This was a really amazing experience. Always wanted to come here my entire life, see where all of this went down, learn more about my ancestry, see these spots, see these really historic spots, not only for this country, but for me in general and my family and whatnot. After hearing about this for 30 plus years of my life, finally here. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. Make sure you check out Tampa Jay's video because he had his camera here too.
Thank you, babe.
He made his own video. He showed a lot of stuff at the beginning here, like in Duxbury, because his descendants lived there. So we showed a lot of that, and also the graveyard that we went to at the beginning of this video. So it's very different from this one. Make sure you check it out. The link is always down in the description below.
Thank you.
Also, depending on whenever you see this video, it's going to be out of order of our road trip. So probably should have said that at the beginning there, but whatever. You all are smart. You'll figure it out. But anyway, we have a lot more adventures coming up here, as I always say. Thank you again for watching. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you all later. Bye-bye, everybody. See you soon.